from Amity University in 2019, and currently I'm pursuing this course. Thank you.
Thank you, Dipanshu. Thank you, Pranav. Aditya, you're the co-host. So if someone wants to join in after we've started, please let them in. Let's look forward to having as many people interested as possible to join in and to take what's best offered by Dipanshu and Pranav here today. Let's go ahead and start in another 3 minutes. In the meanwhile, so Dipanshu is a member of our first club, and they have been in training. They've completed the training. They've done both their fundamental as well as technical analysis. And Pranav is a member of our second club, which was just started 1 month ago. So the idea simply is Pranav has already completed his fundamental analysis sessions. So the idea is Pranav would be taking us through the fundamental analysis of the stock that they're going to present today. And Dipanshu would be taking us through the technical analysis part of the stock. Looking forward to both of you. Let's just wait for another 2 minutes because we're expecting more members to join in. In the meanwhile, we have a lot of people coming in today, around 25 already, and registrations were somewhere around 40, 42. So I guess we're just hoping a couple of more people to join in. Great. Okay. In the meanwhile, Dipanshu and Pranav, any guesses of what stock or any hints you would like to give of the stock that you're going to present today?
Well, there's a stock, we say there's a moat in every stock. There's a stickiness in every stock. I think this stock is about the stickiness and the moat of stickiness only. Everybody and everyone has used this, the product of their stock. From top to bottom where you're sitting, you have used that product somewhere in your life. You go to your slippers, you go anything you've broken in your household, you have repaired that with the product which we are going to present. So I guess you can relate to the product which we are going to show you, the stock which we are going to show you. And Pranav, over to you. You have anything to say about this stock, please?
I guess I'll just like to add that everybody has encountered with this product in their lifetime at least once. So everybody is familiar with the product, and we'll looking forward to the presentation.
Okay, great. So the idea simply is that they're going to present on a stock that we've already used. Probably we're not aware of the company, but we're probably aware of the brand or of the product that we've been using. So for all the members or all the participants, we'll have a question and answer session after the presentation is over. Please keep your questions ready, and you can just drop them in the chat box, or you can unmute yourself. And if you're comfortable, just turn on your video and ask the question, and Pranav and Dipanshu would be more than happy to answer those questions for you. So we would like to start the presentation now. It's 12:29:55, another 5 seconds. Over to you, Dipanshu and Pranav.
Right. So good afternoon, everyone. I am Pranav Lamba with Dipanshu Aneja. We are presenting on Pidilite Industries. So you can see the BSE and NSE code for the following below. So next slide, please. So the question arises, why Pidilite? So next slide. So I would be briefing you about the stock. So Pidilite was marketed in India in 1959. It was introduced as an easy to use glue as replacement for those conventional fatty based glues. It was started by Mr. Bhavant Parekh. It was incorporated in 1969 and today has become the market leader in its segment. So next slide. So one slide.
Yeah.
So coming to the business model of Pidilite Industries, we analyze a business model of a company to see the performance of the company, or in simple terms, a business model is from where the company is generating its revenues. Here, as we all can see, 84.4% is consumer and bazaar products, 14.8% is industrial products, and 0.8% is others. So next slide. So further, when we drill down into the segments of Pidilite, we see in consumer and bazaar, we have adhesives at 56.4% being the largest in blue, art and craft at 8.4% being the smallest in yellow, and in industrial segment, we have industrial adhesives standing at 44.8% in blue, and industrial resins standing at 26.7% in red being the smallest. So next slide. Now we have the product portfolio of Pidilite in front of us. Now we all must be familiar with the products of Pidilite. We can see Fevicol Synthetic, Fevicol Marine, Dr. Fix-It, Blue Fix, Steel Grip, and whatnot. Now coming to the investment strategies of Pidilite, there are two types of investment strategies, growth and value. The investment strategy used here is growth. So we recommend you to buy the stock at 1349.91 or 1444. The target is of rupees 1698. We recommend you to hold at 1441 and watch at 1444. The confidence level is confirmed. Now coming to the fundamental analysis of the stock, we have quantitative analysis and qualitative analysis. In quantitative analysis, there are quite a few parameters, the first being price to earning break years. So this simply means to earn 1 rupee, I have to pay 60.45. This ratio is not relevant for growth stock as we are anticipating high capital. Now we have debt to equity. So debt simply means bank loan or udhar. Here the ratio is 0.01, which basically means that the company is practically debtless. Next ratio is interest coverage ratio. This means that whether the company can pay its interest expenses in future if they acquire any debt. It should be more than 5. Then we have gross profit margin. So gross profit margin in simple terms means the profit of the company after deducting the selling expenses. This stands at 51.90% and is growing. Then we have operating profit margin. So operating profit margin is the profit of the company after deducting the operating expenses like wages, salaries, raw material expenses, etc. This stands at 19.10% and is steady. Further, we have return on equity. So to distinguish between a growth stock and a value stock, we check the return on equity. If the return on equity is higher, it is a growth stock. Here it is 23.95% per annum, which means that अगर आज मैंने अपने बिजनेस में 100 रुपए लगाए तो कल मेरा बिजनेस मुझे 23.95 कमा के देगा. Then we have sales growth, which has been rising from the past 3 years. Net income too is rising from the past 3 years, and there has been a 4.5 times increase in net income from the last 10 years. Coming to the qualitative analysis, now what is moat? So moat is basically stickiness to a product, or in simple terms, one's attraction towards the product. Moat for Fevicol is very high. Like when we go to a stationery, we don't ask for glue, we ask for Fevicol. Fevicol has now become a generic word for glue. That's how strong the moat or the presence of Fevicol in the market is. Coming to the competitive advantage, first we have new entrants, which is low, which simply means it requires a lot of capital to start a new business and compete with a big player like Pidilite. Bargaining power of suppliers here is moderate. The threat of substitute products is low because there are no substitute for adhesives. Next is bargaining power of buyer, which is again low. The rivalry among existing competitors is low because Pidilite being the largest player in the market and has more than 70% market share. Yeah, so coming to the shareholding pattern, we have promoters. So promoters are basically the owners of the company or the people who have started the business. This stands at 69.62% and has been steady from the past 4 years. Pledge is basically whether the owners have mortgaged any shares to the bank or not. Pledge should be as low as possible, and zero here is excellent. Then we have FII, which is foreign institutional investors, and DII, which is domestic institutional investors. Both are 11.5% and 9.53% respectively, and have been steady from the past 4 years. Mutual funds stand at 3.39%. Lastly, we have others, which mean retail investors like you and me. This is at 9.03%. So to conclude, I would say that the management for Pidilite is good because the promoters' shares have been steady from the past 4 years, and the pledge is also zero, which shows that the promoters have confidence in their company, which is always a good sign. And we can also see that the gross profit margin was growing and operating profit margin is also steady. Then we can see that the company distributed interim dividend of rupees 6.5 per share on March 13, 2020. And you can also see some of the recent corporate actions taken by the company. Now, if I have to sum up the qualitative analysis, I'd like to say that Pidilite is a very good company with its global presence in more than 71 countries. It has been expanding its business model by forming joint ventures with ICA, Jowat SE, Grupo Puma Limited. Now, Pidilite has also acquired 70% stake in share equity in 10x Private Limited this May. Over to Dipanshu for technical analysis.
Thank you, Pranav. Moving on to the technical analysis, as the Pranav already told about how strong the fundamental of the company is, we still require where to enter, where to exit, right? As we know, return should be our first target, that we should get more and more return. So the technical analysis tells us that where to enter and where to exit. I mean, the target and the entry point of the stock. So moving ahead, I'll go to the monthly chart of the Pidilite Industries. Now, if you could see, there are some green candles and red candles. I'll brief about them. Green candles mean the buyers are heavy, and the red candles mean the sellers are heavy. In a simple terms, I will say. Now, if you will see a trend of a monthly chart, it's primarily an uptrend. And I was very wondered, this in a monthly chart, it's very difficult to find that is there any been correction in this chart? I mean, if you have a COVID-19 right now going on, but this monthly chart cannot tell you where this COVID-19 correction took place, because the fundamental of companies are so strong, the moat is so strong that it resisted that COVID-19 crisis and bounced back again to the same place where it was before. So you can see some green lines and red lines, yellow lines over there. You could be wondering what is that. The green lines are the support, and the red lines are the resistance. Now, how I made that line, you cannot recognize in this chart. It shows that it is like random green lines and red lines. Let's brighten up. We'll go to the weekly chart, and then you will see some of the lines are making some sense. Now, if you see the same lines in the weekly chart, the green lines and the red lines are making some sense. Green lines are support. Basically, that means that these lines will give the support price. If it price is above these green lines, that means these green lines will give the support to the price. The last closing price of the Pidilite industry was 1430.05 in the Friday. We can see a red line just above that, that is 1441. That is a yellow line. You could see I've marked for you 1441, and a green line just below that, that is at 1349.91. From the weekly chart, we can see that a red candle has been made. So there must be a bearish trend. There must be a sellers are heavy. So I am recommending, okay, 1349.91 is my next target. I should buy it, right? So let's go to the drill down to the daily chart and see more about it, how the daily chart says about the same lines. This is a daily chart of the same thing with the same lines. You could see, yes, it says that 1349.91 is the next support from the where the trend is coming, and 1441 is the resistance where the yellow line is. Now, if just have concentration of you in the last 10 candles, There was a small upper trend. It made a doji and made a reversal bearish trend. If you could see, there were four red candles continuously, and the last candle of the Friday was green candle. It is still confusing for me, and now maybe the reversal can take place. That is, as it is a green candle bias, I have, you know. So okay, I can take that argument, and let's move on to the next slide, and we'll see some with some indicators what indicator says about it. Now, the same chart is there on the top, but in the bottom, there are some zigzag lines. You see a violet line over there. That is the RSI, that is Relative Strength Index. This tells us the strength of the trend. And there's a blue line, which is on balance volume chart. The on balance volume line, if you could see at the last of the chart on the on balance volume and relative strength, you can compare that there is a dip in the relative strength index, but on balance volume is still there. What is on balance volume? I'll tell you. On balance volumes are that some very big financial institutions are buying it. There's a bulk buying in this. If you will see that there is a dip in RSI, but still financial institutions are buying. As you can see, that violet line is dropping down from the top, but the blue line is still rising. That means the price which I'm telling to buy is the institutions have already bought it, right? I will still say, okay, RSI is going down. I want to make more confirmation about it. So let's move to the next slide and see more confirmation about this slide. The next more confirmation says about this slide. Let's draw some Fibonacci into it. Now Fibonacci means that this world is distributed into some ratios, and they follow some ratios. Some numbers are there. Every trend and everything in the world follows that number, in which we get a ratio called 0.618, which is a golden ratio. Now you can see the green candle at the last is between 0.618, that is at the exact point 1349.91. I've just drawn, and it has actually went to the same support and resistance. I don't know how Fibonacci knows it. So Fibonacci does the same thing. So it is 0.618 is the golden ratio, which is supposed to be very good support. So if I'm recommending like to one buy at 1349.91. It actually supports by Fibonacci also. I'm telling you to watch at 1441 because the last candle was green. So let's see if the on Monday it opens above zero point 0.5, that is 1441 yellow line. If you could see if it is open above that, and it reaches it makes 2-3 candles green above that 1441 1444, then also you can go for buy, because then it will show that it is a trend reversal. Now you will be thinking, what how to see the target in it, how much the first target we will see. So there is a violet line on top, right? Now I'll show you in the next slide how the target we have made. Let's move on to the next slide. This is a single, this is a trend line Fibonacci retracement. If you will see, I've done nothing, just followed the last trend which it has made, taken the height of that and measured it with the Fibonacci and put the same copy paste on the top of that trend. You will see it has met the same point where it was the last time the high. If you will see the top green, it is matching the same level over there. So we say in technical analysis that the history repeats itself. Here it is repeating itself. So if you think for a long term of point of view, it's already at 1698, it's already making a good profit. But if you for a long term profit, if you will see in a daily chart, you can see some ups and down. Remember the monthly chart I shown you, it is always an upper trend. So imagine how much return on equity you will be having in a monthly chart. If you will see that you cannot see any correction even in the COVID-19 cases. You had a COVID-19 cases, and you haven't seen any correction in the chart. It's been upper trend. So how much profit you will be making if you hold that Pidilite Industries for a long time? And summarizing that to the technical part, again I'll go to the last slide of the presentation of the price. I will say that 1349.91 is my price, and 1444 is to watch, and the target is 1698. And also, please next slide. Uh, Summarizing this technical chart, you will see you can buy either 1349.91 or 1444. 1441, as I've shown you, it is a yellow line. If it is making 3-4 green candles above it on Monday morning, you can go ahead and buy it. And if it is dropping down, make a demat account, put money in it, and buy it at 1349.91. And this is the summarized technical chart for us. And with this, I will finish my presentation, and I will say that Pidilite and investor, we should make a good bond, जैसे फेविकल का जोड़ बनता है. So let's move on to the question and answer session, and we are open to any questions and any suggestions anyone have with this analysis.
Well, thank you, Divyanshu and Pranav. Dipanshu and Pranav, it was an amazing presentation. If you have any questions, please feel free to type it in the chat box, or you can also unmute yourself and turn on your video and ask the questions. Also, members from 0001 and 0002, we're expecting a lot of questions from you guys. Does anyone has any questions? Come on, they cannot be that good. Okay, members from 0001 and 2, over to you if any questions.
I think there's one question in the chat box.
Okay, what is the yearly trend on this stock? I don't know what. Dipanshu, would you like to take that? I don't know if.
I guess they're talking about the monthly chart which we have shown. Akshasa, you can see the chart. This monthly chart. This one candle represent the 1 month, and you can see it is from last 12 years, from 2008 2009. You can see that yearly chart. It shows one candle is of 1 month, and you can see that there has been an upper trend all the time in Pidilite Industries because the mot was very strong, fundamentals are very strong. And I was just telling you about this because that on other stocks, if you will go and see a monthly chart, yearly chart, you will see a bearish trend at the March, in the March, because there was a COVID-19 crisis was there. But in the Pidilite Industries, it was so strong that it has bounced back from there. If you could see that, there's a red candle, bigger candle at the end, and a green candle. That means it has actually bounced back from the crisis which it has taken. I guess that gives the answer to your question.
Thank you, Dipanshu. Pranav, I guess there's a question on the fundamentals. They're asking, is the stock good for long-term investment, just like Infosys? I don't know what's the correlation between Infosys and Pidilite, but I guess what Kshitij is trying to ask is it a good stock? Because I guess they're saying Infosys a grade A stock. So is this a good stock? That's what they're trying to ask.
Yeah, so fundamentally, or talking about the long term, Pidilite is a very good stock because the moat for Pidilite is very high, and even in near future, the moat will always increase and not decrease. And the shareholding pattern, the management, everything is excellent, which indicates that it is a very good and healthy company, and one should invest for long term.
Great.
Adding on to that, I will tell this is the chemical sector, and that is the information technology sector. So let's talk about the chemical sector. Chemical sector, once you get a molecule, like once chemical, the Pidilite here is using a vinyl acetate monomer, that is VEM, for all the products which is using, that is Fevicol and all the adhesive. Once you get that product, you can make a lot of products from them. So chemical is into everything. If you see around you, chemical is into everything. And a chemical industry sector stock with this kind of mode is very hard to find. And if you will see that this Pidilite Industries, I was reading it, they have done forward and backward integration for all of them. That means they're going to the raw materials also and to the end consumer products also. And they're coming with the new thoughts and new ideas of the products in the chemical industry. And that also becoming more day by day.
Right. So answering Arshiya's question. So the strategy used here was growth investment strategy, which simply says that we are expecting a higher return on equity, and we don't have to consider the price to equity ratio. And answering Siddharth Sahu questions, are there any other factors that we need to take into account for a long-term investment, say 2 to 3 years? So to see a So to check whether the company is good for long term or not, we generally check a couple of things. First, we check the debt to equity ratio and the interest coverage ratio. If they fall in the parameters, then it is good. They basically indicate that the company is healthy and in crisis it will survive. And then we check the management of the company, whether the promoters shares have been steady or not, how much pledge have they done to the bank, and the gross profit margin and the operating profit margin. All these signs indicate that the company is healthy and is a good investment for long term.
Great. I guess, Dipanshu, the question is for you. Arshia is asking, if we want to trade on this stock, what is the strategy? So there is no investment there. It's a pure question, simple question. They're saying if we just want to get a quick entry and quick exit, what exactly?
Okay, Aisha, I will like to answer that. We are giving this talk for the investment point of view. As the price tags we are telling is for long-term investment point of view. But still, I have told you, remember that 1349.91 is still the downward. So 1444 is still above, resistance is there. If there's a bearish trend, you can, for the short time, you can sell it, I guess, if that is the point of view asking. But for me, I am just recommending it for the investment point of view. And for the investment point of view, it's a very good stock for long-term investment. I think
Also,
that gives
Dipanshu, can we just buy it at 1441 and sell it at 1698 and it could be called a trade?
yes, that is true. That's true. That's true, manager. That's true.
Great. So I guess that question's answered there. The second, and we have a question where, okay, so someone wants to gain clarity on Fibonacci analysis if time permits. Okay, Dipanshu, can you just give them on not how it is done, of course, because I think that'll need an hour or two, but on what Fibonacci basically is trying to sell. Also, we have a question from Harshit. Can you tell how to apply trend-based Fibonacci retracement level? Where, Harshit, that's a different class altogether. I don't think we can specifically focus on Fibonacci
Okay,
today.
this is a big topic to cover. But okay, I will tell you in a short. You see the color coding over here. We say that each and every thing in the world follows some ratio. You see that follows here, like if you will see there's a number written on after every color change. That means that is a ratio. That is a universal ratio. Every 10, if you see go to a flower and you count the platelets of it, it will also come into it because it is following that ratio. This either 0.618, 0.5, 0.321, one of them will cover that, the flower platelets ratio. So I have just drawn that platelets, so that Fibonacci from the trading view tools which we use. It takes experience, it takes time to draw it. But if you draw it, you have to draw it correctly, that whatever support and resistance you are putting, either it is it is justifying that or not, either maybe you are doing it wrong. But if you will see now, I've just not done nothing, I've just retraced it and it fallen again to the same support and resistance which I have put it. That means it was correct. So now if you will see at 0.236 on the red line, on the red mark where it is, with the red color where it is finishing, it is taking a resistance there at this ratio. And if you will go back, if it has if it has if you go if that is the resistance point, and if you go down from where it has taken support, that is 0.618, that is the golden ratio. If you will see, the trend has bounced back from there. That means it is taking support from there, resistance from there. So there must be somebody must be there following that. That is what the magic of Fibonacci. It tells you where the trend will go in the future. You will say why it is going up and down, because everybody is watching it, and when million of people are watching it, trend will follow according to that. I guess that gives the answer to that question.
Thank you, Dipanshu. I think that was a very brief and it's a good explanation for someone who might not know Fibonacci. Also, so Kshitij is asking on what does watch at 1444 means on the slide 21. So I guess Dipanshu, you can answer this.
Yeah, correct. I'll go back to the slide and show you.
Should I just go to the charts where?
Yes, sir.
Here it is.
Okay. You see the yellow line at I've made at 1441. Now you see that there is a, if you see last 5 candles, there has been a bearish trend of 4 red candles, and it has made a green candle over there. One, two, three, four are the blue red candles, and the last one is green. So if it has been a red candle, I could say that it is going to be go down. It is a bearish trend, but it has made a green candle, and the edges are still cutting a 1441. So I am telling you to watch 1444 because if it is goes above this yellow line and make 2 3 green candles, then I should buy it, because then it has taken a reversal of trend. That means the trend will go up from now on. I guess that will give the answer to the question why we have to watch 1444.
So, Kshitij, what Dipanshu is trying to say is that right now we're not sure if the stock is going towards the resistance or it is going towards the support. Hence, we will not trade or we will not put our money right now. We need a confirmation. If it closes above 1 3 times 4, then we can go ahead and say that the next resistance would be the stop for this particular stock. And if it does not breach 1 3 times 4, then it's going back to the support. Then we're looking forward to, if we are an investor, we'll wait for the stock to test the support. And if you're a trader, short sell, or we can short the stock here for the support as a target. So that's what Dipanshu is trying to say there. We have another question.
So we have a question from Rohan Dubey.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. We can rely on technical charts. The fundamental is actually for long-term investment. Technical. I'll give the answer to both the question in one. That fundamental is tells us how healthy company is. Is it going to take the crisis into it? But technicals tell us where to enter. Yes, in the technical we say sir, history repeat itself. So yes, future will be dependent on it, and people are following it. So technical is a good thing to watch for the future also. And yes, it predicts also. In the last screen I have told you how I given the target of 1698. I have done the single. If you see the last slide, which I have used the trend line Fibonacci retracement, I have given you target from there only. And I have done nothing, just I have done drawn a single trend Fibonacci retracement, and it has given me the last exact high of the trend. So that means the technicals are following, and targets will be followed. And the company is a high mode company. It has taken a COVID-19 crisis. In monthly chart, it doesn't show where it is COVID-19 crisis. So it will going to, it is for a long term investment, it is going to go up. It is going to go up. And yes, technical works into it because it tells you where to enter and where to exit. I am telling you 1698, you can hold it for a longer time. You will get more profit because company's moat is very strong. I guess that gives you the answers to both the question of technical there.
Thank you, Dipanshu. Also, just to clarify one doubt from Arshia, if we want to just trade, is technical enough? So I guess to answer that, you will always have to do a fundamental test on the stock that you want to trade, because we don't want to trade on non-fundamental stocks either. So once you have certified the stock with your personal fundamental analysis, then technical is enough to start trading, right, Dipanshu? Is that what you would like
yes,
to?
sir, but you should know how to put this technical analysis, because it takes time to draw a correct technical. It doesn't mean that you draw anywhere anything, because if you do one wrong price, your trade will go wrong and you will lose money. So you better learn first technical in a good manner, then it will be a good thing for good trade for trading. I would suggest that.
Great, guys. If you have any other questions, please unmute yourself and you can ask the question directly to Pranav and Dipanshu, or you can drop in the chat box and just post it to everyone and just ask a question. We're just waiting for a couple of more seconds. For some of you who might be shying off and not asking questions, we're all here to answer your questions. The presentation today is for you guys.
Pranay, hi. So my question about the Pidilite industry is that when I was saying about the corporate actions of the company, and in history they have a history of around giving 5 to 6 rupees a dividend per share in a year. But in the month of March they have given an interim dividend of 7 rupees, and again in couple of days they are about to give the dividend. So any flags on this multiple time of giving dividend, like considering it's a COVID situation and company might need cash to survive this market. So any specific analysis on that?
I would like to answer it a bit if it's possible. Okay. they were this Pidilite industry has started in a with a good connection with this end users. In the 1969, this the craftsmen used to have using this Favicol. So this Pidilite are having direct connection with them. So they have made a good relationship with their end users so much that in the COVID-19 cases, as they know, everybody is suffering from the money crisis. That's why they have increased the dividend to increase the to increase the relationship between the end users and them. And I was listening to one of the interview by the AGM of them, that they have made new teams of Act Now and Plan Now team for the COVID-19 crisis, in which they have actually given the PPE kit with the Favicol thing, so that the people who are using the end users, like carpenters or craftsmen, those who are using it, the Favicol product of theirs, they can actually get the PPE with the Favicol itself. How good this shows that how good relationship they have with the end users of them, and they used to get in 1969 directly feedback from them. So to maintain that relationship with the end users, that the craftsmen, they are actually increasing this thing, so that people will have believe in them, that yes, they have a good amount of free cash flow in them. I guess that gives the answer. Pranav, you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, just to add to the fundamental analysis of the part, see, even this crunch COVID situation, Pidilite has managed to acquire 10x India with 70% equity share, and has funded Pepperfry with 30 million USD. So this shows that Pidilite's business has not affected, the corona has not affected Pidilite's business, and the fundamentals for the company are very strong.
Great, guys. Thank you so much for answering that. I would just like to add one thing, because I have been a long-term investor in Pidilite, and it's been almost 7 to 8 annual general meetings that I've attended, really close. So to answer that question, Vijay, the problem with Pidilite is they have a lot of capacity. They are not short of capacity, so they can keep producing they can keep serving the demand as long as the demand stays. Now the problem is, all the products that have already been manufactured and are being sold produce a lot of revenue for the company, and they're not looking to reinvest the cash flow into more capex or into more capacity. And there are only two things you can do with the free cash flow. That is, either you can add it to the capacity of the company, or you can reward the shareholder. So this is probably the day, because of these are the days for which Pidilite has been growing its capacity or growing its capex to the current volumes. Also, the idea is that all this revenue that is being generated is being given back to the shareholders in forms of dividends today, because they're not looking at global demand to grow as per the capacity that they've already put in place. So the idea simply is, because they are not confident in reinvesting the capital for capacity, they are rewarding the shareholder back with the dividends. I hope that answers the question. If we have any other questions, guys, I'm just going through the chat box.
Okay, what software do you use to create these charts? Okay, so there are so many sites you can use to create charts, but when I was not into the A3D, I used to watch some YouTube videos and make some support on system from my side. But I don't know whom to ask whether it is right or wrong. But after joining A3D, we have a very good mentor, Atul sir, who are very good experience in technical charts from last 35 years. And I always reached out to him and asked him whether my support and resistance, I'm telling you the basic thing, the support and resistance. I used to ask him, and he filtered out my support and resistance, we find them. And now I am getting it right, approximately right what he's making. So that's how I learned it. And you can draw any, you can use any site of, chart floating, but to get it right, you have to, get some mentor thing on it. Otherwise, things will go wrong. Can you please, okay, what is the growth? Okay, what is the growth forecast of chemical industry was there? Okay. Sir, chemical industries, as you see, India has led a very good thing in specialty chemicals. And if you go ahead, the specialty chemical in Indian manufacture, they have gone to forward integration and downward integration both sides. So yes, the future of the chemical industries in India is very bright, and I personally like chemical industry too. And then It is a question of what better like. Sir,
So there's simply the question simply asks is if you compare Pidilite to other company in the same sector, why are you still confident on Pidilite? And I guess you can
sir,
answer.
Pidilite, sir, you have a Favicol, you have Faviquick. The moat you see, does the Deepak Nitrate have that moat? I guess not. The moat is that big part takes place. You know, Indian market comes from the sentiment and moat. The moat with the chemical sector is very difficult to come by, and Favicol has made a very big moat. So I think the other companies has to pull up their stocks to get above that moat if they want to come into competition with this Pidilite Industries in this sector. And as we can say, Deepak Nitrate is coming with some different material, and Pidilite is coming with VAM. So they are into some different special chemical sectors. Okay, as they have maximized their capacity already and doing well on the that part, does that mean they don't have much growth? No, sir. Pranav, could you please elaborate about the future plans of the Pidilite so that gives the answer to Sahil Nagpal?
Yeah, so to answer the growth opportunities in future, so as discussed earlier, Pidilite has been growing its business model by forming joint ventures with quite a few companies like Joat, ICA, and Grupo Puma. And it has recently acquired 70% equity in 10x also. So this shows that they are expanding their business model, and they are trying to form a new business cycle which will help in further growth opportunities.
Okay, great. Also, to answer that question, guys, we always try and bet on the best horse in the business. And the biggest company or the fastest growing, say, till date, has been Pidilite Industries. And also to say that even if they are working at, or even if they have maxed out their capex as of now, they are just looking at the global demand and they're not increasing their capacity. That does not mean if tomorrow we have an increase in demand, they would not be rerouting their funds towards capex. They can easily do that. They're sitting on huge cash. The quantum of cash Pidilite is sitting on today, they can start a new business altogether in a new domain tomorrow, and it won't be a big hurdle for them. So that's the end of the discussion session now. So if I could request Atul sir to go ahead and do a pool for us. Atul sir, are you there with us?
Yes, I am.
Okay, great. Good morning, sir. Sir, just a pool for all the observers here, and let's get a pool on how exactly did it, or what exactly do they think about Pidilite now?
Honestly speaking, I was just going through the presentation and the discussion. Very, very interesting. So few answers I can clarify for the audience. Currently, all of us are using, let's say, tradingview.com to plot our charts. You can use investing also. Like Dipanshu mentioned, there are a lot of sites. Then I saw a question about comparing Deepak Nitrate with companies like, Pidilite with Deepak Nitrate or some other companies like Navin Fluorine. So you are comparing actually the raw material company with the finished product company. Okay. So there is a huge difference in that. When you go to the fundamentals also and compare all these three companies, you'll find Navin Fluorine and Deepak Nitrate debt to equity ratio should be probably 20 times more than Pidilite. Okay, so there are too many factors. So if you start comparing them, you'll realize why Pidilite is the favorite one here. But when it comes to the presentation today, I think that was excellent. And considering Pranav being still a student, honestly, is outstanding.
Yes, sir.
It's really, really outstanding. I mean, the presentation you guys have done is as if a professional research analyst is doing. So Pidilite, maybe next week, like Dipanshu mentioned, it can come down. I'll wait for the right time and I'll invest. And let's see how good you guys are. Okay. So thank you very much for today's presentation. I think it was fantastic. We can actually request everybody to just give us some feedback. I mean, if they have any, that'll be really, really useful. So Emmanuel, we are going to open a poll here.
Yes, sir. Let me just.
Yeah, just give us a second, please.
Atul sir, I guess you're logged in to the portal, so.
Yeah, I'm just opening the poll.
Okay.
All right, it guys unfortunately seems disabled. Emmanuel, are you logged into the system? Because I'm not able to.
Should I try doing it? Let me just try it.
Please.
Okay, yeah, I can do it. I'm doing it, sir.
Okay, thank you. In the meantime, I'm just going to request Dipanshu to, whenever you have time today, if you can upload today's presentation on the portal, so that all the members will have access to it.
Sure, sir, sure.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, I guess there is some trouble. The poll is not able to launch itself.
We have received the
I think it's going on currently.
We have received. We have
It didn't come
received.
to me. Okay, maybe I made it. So, okay, great. Thank you. So, guys, thank you so much. We'll just be sharing a little bit more about what we do. And for those of you who are not already aware about what exactly do we do. So just a quick brief. I hope you're able to see the screen. Dipanshu, is the screen visible?
Yes, screen is visible. Your desktop is visible, Emmanuel.
My desktop is visible. Okay. Just a moment.
Yes,
Is the presentation visible now?
yes, it is visible.
Great. Okay, so guys, we are the Together Investing Club. Dipanshu is a part of our first club, and Pranav here is a part of our second club. So Pranav has only completed the fundamental analysis till date, and Dipanshu has done both technical as well as fundamental. And the first club has already gone through the launch, and they've already started the club meetings. Great. So guys, our mission was to nurture a close-knit community of aware and equipped investors in the stock market ecosystem. And as you can see, both Dipanshu and Pranav today are both aware and well-equipped with all the tools and techniques that are required. The vision was to make sure that the experience in the stock markets is blissful and profitable for all individuals. The idea is, our commitment is, we're making a group of 15 members, we're training them for 10 weeks, and then we would be mentoring them for 10 months. So it's a 12-month association as it is, and then you can keep your memberships with us for as long as you feel just. For the trainings part, we'll be covering the fundamental analysis for the first 6 weeks. Then we'll be going through the technical analysis in the next 4 weeks. And we're trying to cover almost everything that's been used, fund managers, portfolio managers, hedge fund managers across the world. And we're trying to set standards really, really deep here. We're trying to do both qualitative, quantitative factors like Pranav already presented. And in technical analysis, we're not only talking about charting, we're not only talking about price, we're also talking about the psychology and on how we should build patience and how we should wait for the right time to take a position. Then we're talking about the community. The community is self-sustained. We're trying to build a community that really serves itself does all the research in-house, does all the number crunching in-house, and we do not need the news media or the financial news any longer, or we do not need anyone else to tell us what to do in the stock markets and end up losing or end up not making enough profits. The commitments are fixed both from our end and from the members' end. The final outcome is you would start attaining profitability with time. You would spend less time with the stock markets, and the time that you're spending would be more qualitative in nature. It's basically to create an alternate source of income or to help you attain wealth maximization. It's about the emotional journey here. It's about the intellect here. It's about the knowledge that we're trying to absorb from the markets. And trust me, once you have been plugged into the markets, there is so much of download that happens, and there is so much of data integration that happens with you, that you tend to improve the intellect, you tend to improve the awareness about the business sphere, about the things happening around us. There is a wonderful quote by Warren Buffett, and he says, "My experience in business helps me be an investor." I like the other part of it where he says, "My investment experience has made me a better businessman." Actually trying to say is that because he knows what good businesses are and how he can invest in good businesses, he ends up building good businesses. So that's what we're trying to achieve here. The idea simply is that we all come together, do all the research together, and share the research with each other. So thank you guys for joining in today. What does the Together Investing Club membership cost you? It's a one-time 25,000 rupees plus GST for the first year, and second year onwards, you can renew your membership with 10,000 rupees plus GST. We're launching our third club on 20th June 2020. That is next Saturday. And we're looking forward to more people coming and enrolling for the club. It is a win-win situation for everyone who joins. A, they will be serving themselves with a lot of knowledge and intellect, and B, they will be served by the community with a lot of shares. We do such research every day, and we do these presentations almost every week, where we're discussing at least 2 to 3 stocks a week. That's around 200 stocks in a year, guys. And I don't think any one of us wants to miss out on that kind of, or that quantum of information. Thank you so much for today. I would end my time here. If the poll results could be seen, Adil sir, can you see the poll results?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Okay, great. So we have the poll results with us. We'll be sharing them with our members, and we'll be using it as a feedback for the next couple of presentations we would like to do ahead. That's all for today, and we're right in time. It's 1:18. We've taken less than an hour here. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dipanshu. Thank you so much, Pranav, for your efforts and your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.